We are back with the Ethic Skill Podcast. We discovered what it is to be a small YouTube channel, the hustle and the struggles. What do you learn from it? How much does it really cost to run a YouTube channel? You know, all these little things we talk about with Patrick Banks from Canada, and he has his own YouTube channel, Life and Times with Patrick Banks. What else did we learn from Patrick Banks? The power of healing, power of forgiveness. Also understanding that even in our imperfect world, we can always make things better. But more importantly, we dare to explore in other realms we never did before. And Patrick Banks have done that with his YouTube channel, where he found more than himself. He found a coping mechanism where he can not only be genuine about his own stories, but where he can also find therapy and peace of mind as he does his content. And although sometimes creating content for a small YouTube channel is very challenging due to the finances, due to time, and people normally work and then they do this on the side. Although those challenges emerge, Patrick Banks has demonstrated that he's in to win. Interested, what inspired you to promote your channel, Patrick Banks?
Well, it's honestly it's I just feel compelled to do what I do is really hard, and it's not for the faint of heart, and so basically 9 out of 10 times I'm the most interesting person in the room, and I have story after story after story that'll leave your jaw on the floor. And then after a while, because humans in general get habituated to their environment, right? So when crazy is just popping off all the time, that just becomes your normal, and that's generally my life, and it's not everyone. So sometimes I say something offhand, it's nothing, and people are like, "Did you just say?" And I would be a liar if I said it wasn't a vehicle for growth. And I had hopes of experiencing more thorough healing than what has recently transpired. But like anything, this literally takes the role of my therapy session. Now, I actually just responded to her now. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm having a crisis today," and we can get into that if you want, but fuck.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I love you got into that. This is the vehicle for growth, because there's so many ways that you could hop into getting inspired by creating, creating different ways and improving the creation each way. It's little way, it's chiseling a stone. And,
yeah, for sure.
That's what we're doing with ourselves, right? Through this, we get to see ourselves grow through each phase, there's when you go on a walk somewhere and you go on a walk that's consistently the same, sometimes you see the same thing all the time, but sometimes you see something that's different. And the walk has always been the same, but that little thing that you didn't see before, or you just saw that day, it's almost like this vehicle.
And Patrick mentioned something therapeutic, which is something that, for example, creativity always expands that left side of our brain, which definitely helps us cope with what we're doing and brings us back to the present. So I like the fact that how he put these two things together at the opening, and not only a vehicle, but also a good coping mechanism to be in the present, to not think about things that haven't happened yet or things that disturb you from the past, and you live that moment, and you feel alive when you're doing something special that you love.
Yeah, bro, straight up, the reason why I've kind of always been creative when I look back on it, even through sports, my creativity manifested athletically, but when I started writing poetry, it was to stop repetitive thoughts. And I would say videos and podcasts are just an evolution of that. And even the book, I've technically written a book. A book's only 50,000 words. I've written 60. It's not very good, But I did it. It makes me real good at emails these days. But yeah, I am a firm believer, generally speaking, that if you're not always growing, you might as well be dead. And
Okay, what was your books about?
Oh, this is a hard right turn here, but it was basically like an allegory for like mental health and addiction, but like the actual story was like a dark fantasy about so I had wrote this poem years ago. It's actually a funny story. I don't think I've ever told this story, or if I did, it definitely is in the video. I was like just popping Molly. I was like sweating and like writing this poem, and it was like sweating so bad that as I was writing, like the words were smearing. And I wrote this poem about because normally my stuff's really rhymey, and this is one of my first like story poems, I guess. And it was about this king that was possessed by a demon, and his like court gesture. They like, there's only two characters in it, and the king confronts the court gesture, and he has this monologue, and he's like, oh, this demon is trying to manifest itself, and he ends up like committing suicide so that the demon doesn't manifest. And that's like the poem. And then the novel is like a prequel to that. So it's like and in the prequel, they're like, it's the same concept. There's this demon who's like like in the king or whatever, but the additional characters are, there's like these twin brothers, like a shaman and a wizard, and the shaman has no real magic. It's like tricks and physics and math and whatever, and then the wizard has like reality warping abilities, but it doesn't really come into play right till the very end. So I came with the ending first, and the ending is just I just didn't write it fast enough. Anyways, okay, so the ending is because they're twin brothers. So the demon gets manifest to reality, and it goes on a rampage and like kills the shaman. And then in that moment, the wizard like manifests his reality warping abilities and tries to change everything so that his brother lives, but infinitely his brother dies. And so it was like the wizard's magic that manifests the demon. So in the end, he like commits a self-sacrifice. They're basically story. One, like he like stabs himself, one he like blinks himself out of reality with magic. I've actually never really made that connection till right now, but and then so it's kind of like a non-ending, because the goal when I thought I wanted to be a writer was like, I'm gonna write a trilogy. I just never got past the first one.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I like this. I like those storylines that you create, like the creativity you've been creating, like hopping into it. Like I just can imagine like one of the like brothers being one of the wizards, just like trying to fight the demon with just physics, and then the other one's trying to use like that warping reality, the dimensional like theories into it, but like it can't go. It's that infinite loop of fate in a sense that happens.
Yeah. Hey, yo, so you wanna know why I stopped really? There's a couple reasons. Obviously I got into the videos and I only have so much energy, but what really took the wind out of my sails is multiple like Marvel and DC and other things, because it's like, not, if you understand like basic quantum mechanics, and not even understand, but like at a superficial level, it's kind of like a fairly like low-hanging fruit, like so the Flash, which bombed, that's my fucking story. Have you ever seen the Flash? There's an episode of Marvel What If. Did they do it with Doctor Strange? Like literally bar for bar my story, except I had the idea in like 2017, 2016, and they are a multi-million-dollar company and did it. So sucks. Super flattering that I came up with the same idea basically as a multi-million-dollar company, but sucks because I wasn't fast enough.
Okay, have you ever heard of the philosophy of steal like an artist? Like the artist, like they take a piece of work. Andy Warhol, he did this with the Campbell can. And if you've seen that work with the Campbell cans being produced in all the museums where it starts going all over the place, is basically he just took the Campbell can, literally almost script by script, changed the lettering, and it reproduced it almost everywhere around. So the concept is that art is made from taking an idea from before and evolving on it, like re-adding like your own twist or perspective to that idea. Like that's also like in writing too, like when you don't plagiarize, right? You're not supposed to plagiarize, but how else are you getting your ideas? You're taking ideas from this, and then you're developing your own concept, your own perspective, your own vision on it. So it's like there's a lot of things that can influence an idea that goes on. This one you might actually like really like this idea with Nikola Tesla. He says, where do ideas come from? Right?
Yeah, because he kind of believed that could have been like a radio wave, like your soul is being beamed into you, right? Yeah, well, let's yet again hard, like, skirt, on this conversation, but yeah, well, that's like an unanswered question that even like cutting edge neuroscience can't answer, like where is consciousness comes from. Like it's not, I would say it's not out of the realm of possibilities that could be being beamed to us, but you can't obviously negate the fact that it could just be like random cells and like just manifest it. You know what I mean? Like, who really knows? Like, I think the older you get, the more comforting having a soul is. Yeah. But
help us continue to embrace these human experiences and explore more about ourselves and others by just subscribing. If you like our content, definitely like, comment, share it. But also, if you want to be part of our podcast, all you have to do is leave a comment and tell us what you want to talk about. Remember, this is the platform for the people, and we're here to explore those life experiences that are very unique to you and to everyone else. Don't forget to
tie it in. It's like when you came up with the idea for the Marvel, for like the Flash, like you tapped into like a conscious field of having a similar idea like the Flash.
I did it first though.
Yeah, right. Yeah. In a new inspiration.
And just to piggyback on the philosophy of, I find it interesting that it's almost like you can't escape death, no matter if you're a wizard, no matter what magic you have, no matter what trick you have, right? It's a loophole effect, and I like how you created that twist, and it also, if you really look at it, ties up to the unknown, like consciousness. No, but I think more importantly about consciousness. So it's like how useful is to each individual more than what it is. It's just like gravity. We don't know what it is, but we know what it does, right? And consciousness, it to me, like we were talking about with David, we have a chemist in the show, and we're talking about that. It's consciousness is like the software that keeps editing. And like, for example, if we were to send you, Patrick, to space, your conscious is gonna re-edit who you are, because now you're in a different environment. So for that, you have to grow into something and mutate into something different. So what this consciousness is going to do is going to reprogram your DNA, your system, in an evolutionary setting, right? Because it's survival of the fittest when it comes to
space. Okay, you're $100,000. Do you go to space or no? Like, it costs $100,000. You got $100K in the bank. You got a family. Do you go to space?
I don't think I would adventure, because I would like to explore like myself before I even explore something outside of the realms of the unknown.
You ever done acid?
No, never.
Oh, well, I've done a lot of acid, and I used to be called what they call a psychonaut. You know what a psychonaut is?
You can walk us through.
It's like an astronaut for psychedelics. So I've had experiences that you can't even imagine. So yeah, that's what you got to do if you want to go internal. Like, so that's like the cheat code. You can you can go meditate for the next like 20 years. Both yield similar results. One's a little faster, but yeah.
Patrick,
I'm in the conscience, right? It's like it's a way of like opening doors of perception, but like the science into it's like it's recoding of the brain of like
Yep.
like the with the
Yeah, for sure. I personally did that like purposefully. Like I was very aware of the therapeutic aspects of it. Like not to say that my ketamine addiction was wholesome.
Ayúdanos a continuar abrazando estas experiencias humanas y a explorar más sobre nosotros mismos y los demás al suscribirnos. Ya sabes, si te gusta nuestro contenido, asegúrese de me gusta, comentar, compartir. Pero si quieres formar parte de nuestro podcast, todo lo que tienes que hacer es dejar un comentario y decirnos de qué quieres hablar. Recuerda que esta es una plataforma para personas y estamos aquí para explorar esas experiencias de vida que son muy únicas para ti y para otros.
So I didn't really have that thought. Like I kind of knew so my goal has always been 100 episodes from day one. 100 episodes. I don't know if I'll make it, to be honest. It's hard, very hard. And I'm kind of running, it's expensive from my end, like for what I do. And so the first 50 has always been like my artistic expression, like my story, like who I can get, like especially the first, like, before I have recorded 50 episodes before I ever released. Like I recorded all of last year or 2 years ago and then edited and uploaded all of last year. So I still have a bunch like of episodes that I haven't gone. I'm actually thinking of cutting some because again, running out of money. I think I'm going to cherry pick the bangers, but like I started out, that's why live I'm a little hesitant about, because initially, especially if I don't have a script to kind of like keep me on track, like I will bounce around like crazy, and then I find the same amount of effort needs to be put in either pre or in post. It generally looks better in pre because then you have like less cuts in your video. Yeah, so in the beginning it was always like my story, because like I said, I have the craziest stories and then I'm fortunate to know a lot of very interesting people across and high achieving people across all socioeconomic boundaries, and I thought to like leverage those things. And like I said, I've decided that it's my purpose in life to tell my story. Like before I did the videos, the goal was like be a writer, write my fantasy, write a self-help book called Gangster Buddhism, and then do like a biography. Now the videos like basically function as Gangster Buddhism and a biography at the same time. And like, yeah, it's generally about self-betterment, and like the clickbait would be the craziest thing, like the crazy stories or whatever, right? Like that's what's gonna get people click, and like this will get them to watch, and then hit them with like the wildest that they've ever heard. And then like that's one of the reasons why Johnny, my lawyer buddy, is like he's a partner in this project, and that's why we have him to be like, don't do drugs, don't do crime, like we're trying, like like it's a fine line between glorifying it and using it as a tool, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not the goal. Like I have a real big boy job that I need to watch out for. Like that was, bro, like you have no idea. Like, so as someone who's done 10 hits acid at once, going live with my podcast, the anxiety and fear that I felt was the same. And I have a buddy, I don't want to like put him under the bus, but he's a partner at a very esteemed corporation, and we're the same age. And he like, when I told him this, he like scoffed at me, and I was like, well, I did both. I know.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize, like, when you create your channel, you're a small channel, the hustle you have to do, because it's not like you could just jump in and you're generating wealth right off the bat. It's like you're actually investing first. It's an investment, not only of resource, but of time, and finding your identity and creating that identity, then creating a culture, then creating a community, then trying to outsource so you can get more people to not only understand what you're doing, but also to be part of what you're doing and journal with them. And I think people don't realize that being a small channel and, you know, trying to create that image for people to click, I don't think most people understand the hard work that goes behind those curtains. Because outside of that, you have your regular job that you have to fulfill, and you have a life, you know. So it's
Right.
I find it interesting to kind of like
do you do things? I guess you're better at your time management. That is something I wish I was better at. I just I burn out real hard due to like the medication I take, and then I'm most productive in the first 8 hours of the day, and then crash so hard. But and then other things. But
I think what helps myself is just that I have like Kevin and I worked together a long time ago, and it's just I have this drive, like, and that drive is what keeps me going, and it's just intensified because like it's not about just getting to the final goal. It's about getting to the goal and starting from there, even adventure further than that goal. Because I do think that projecting yourself is important, but understanding where you're sitting right now is more important. Like, what is it that you need? What resources you don't have? What do you have to learn? Like, for example, I had to learn editing, and something that I never thought I was gonna do in my life. But you know something? I went down, start typing, start doing all these things, and I'm just like, okay, this is it. And I look at it, it's like, okay, so the day we have editors working for us, now I know exactly what the accountability should look like, you know, because now I understand that role better because I was doing.
How much do you guys pay per video?
Video, like what do you mean by pay per video? Like online?
I pay $200 to $300 a video for my editor, and then I pay $50 for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
We do all the work.
Yeah.
So you're not paying an outside editor.
We don't pay. Yeah, we don't pay anyone. I want to ask you something funny, Patrick. Do you get hit a lot by people from Asia asking if you're interested in a digital marketer?
Yeah, on some platforms. Yeah, it depends what you're at. What platforms are you talking about specifically?
Like YouTube, mostly YouTube and LinkedIn.
Oh, like on your comments?
Yeah, like
those are fake. Those are fake.
I see. So I think when those guys was like building skill levels, like each skill that we get to is something that becomes an asset in your own tool belt. Right?
Of course. Yeah, I touch every one of my videos too. Like the first bunch of videos, I did the rough edit, and then I'm kind of hard on editors, but so I think I'm on like I've had a bunch, but I have like a couple main ones now, and like now I do more of like the final touches. Like I'll touch up the captions or final overlays or final edits or something. Like, and yeah, you're learning. It's such a big program. Like I use Premiere, like Adobe Premiere Pro, and yeah, it's just such a huge program, and there's so many things to learn. Like there's so many programs to learn. There's so much
one of the
fucking
ones
shit.
I really love, DaVinci Resolve. It's free. Like
How old are you?
25.
Younger skew DaVinci because it's free. I am aware of that. I went Premiere because I had it free through school, like through my program, and that's just what I learned because that's what it was available to me. And now I'm an old man. I just absolutely refuse to learn a new program.
How are you?
I just turned 36.
Oh, nice. That's not old man. That's not old. You're still young, bro.
Not from internet standards, no.
Yeah, internet standards, we're like 100. I'm like 200 years old. Patrick is like 105. Kevin is like 60.
I got gray in my beard.
Y'all still young. You guys are still young.
What, Patrick? What are things that you have learned through the experience of posting and seeing what people are what people want? Because I don't think people need to watch any of these things, but they want to watch it for not only the entertainment but the immediate gratification. What have you learned from from those that view your show?
The people you don't know will watch more. I kind of like studied YouTube for like a year before I did it, so I kind of had like a plan. Like I think of my videos more as like a YouTube video podcast hybrid. So I'm like actively utilizing tips and tricks like popularized by like Mr. Beast and some of like the other bigger channels, you know, like more cuts, more B-roll, more whatever, like more cameras, you know what I mean? Like even right now, if you're not toggling, like I would recommend, like if you just have it as the three of us, the whole podcast, like no shade, but I wouldn't recommend that. Like I'd recommend like going, and I know it's hard, especially on like if you're doing streams, because I've done this because I do mine on Discord and sometimes I'll forget, and then, you know, it's like real small, real pixelated when I zoom in on it, but you should be like toggling to like the person who's speaking should be big cam, and then toggle back when someone else talks. Like either you can probably get an AI to do it. I would look into that if I were you, if you're not already doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Like as we're growing as a small platform, we get to see those things that we get to improve on. Like from the beginning when we were talking about improvement. As we grow, we see, and as every video comes out, we see the little things that gets us to make even a better one. Because I can see all of us are living through excellence, and we're all trying to find that excellence curve, that perfect place of perfection. And I think
it's a fine line, yeah, because there's a fine line between like your artistic vision and like the meta, like the YouTube meta. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed also, like you have on YouTube especially, right? It's always like you trying to figure out what the algorithm needs or wants, right? And the coding of what the words are, you know, and the question is like the content, right? Because it's almost like in YouTube, it's almost like what sells is the breaking news, just like it did in TV. That's kind of like the concept. And right, like for example, like me and Kevin, we're like PBS.
What does
right?
that mean? PBS?
PBS,
Victor, like podcast Victor service?
No, it's and here in the States, PBS is like an educational channel. Like I noticed that people love the gossip. They love, you know, the stories like you're talking about it, but they also like to be well informed. So I was watching the other day this debate between Wes Huff and some other guy that they had different point of views about ancient religions, right?
Wes Huff?
Wes Huff, yes.
Okay.
It's interesting.
They're showing a picture of this person on screen right now.
Yes. So if and this is one thing that I like about the YouTube, right? A lot is because you can have a lot of people that can be very confident in what they do, but then you also have people that are competent. And when they were debating, Wes Huff was very competent because this guy is a historian, right? Academically achieved with all the, you know, highest degrees possible, right? The other guy was more of an enthusiast. And you can see the difference of like when somebody that knows their stuff talks, they can debunk, you know, and YouTube, you always hear, we're gonna debunk gravity. It's like, what are you gonna debunk for gravity?
Yeah, it's all about clickbait, right? There's like it's like apples and oranges, you know what I mean? Like you need to, it doesn't matter how good your video is if no one clicks on it.
That's true. That is true.
But then they need to click on it. And then your video needs to be good because the most important metric is watch time, right? No, what was I thinking? I don't know if we said this on camera or not, but like what I recently just did, which I honestly saw like so my graph was like, I posted it, it went up, it plateaued, and then I changed all the descriptions for all my videos. I ran the transcript of the video that you can get off YouTube through GPT-4 IO or whatever, like the fastest reasoner or whatever. and told it like with the thumbnail and with my initial description, and I told it to like create the most viral description, and I like copied pasted back into YouTube, and it just started going up. Like it was like my third best video, and then like plateaued at my third, and then just like it didn't go exponential, but it's just keeps going, and it's all suggested views. Like, so that video is at like 800, and as of earlier today it was like 813 or 811 or something, which I know isn't much, but that's my most poppin'est like long form video, and it has like over 64 hours of watch time, which is like double all of my videos. And so if we're talking about like YouTube hacks, like this is what I'm saying, like your first, like no one's gonna watch this, is way too specific, but anyways, the retention went down right now. Anyways, the like the first line of your description is like what matters most, like in the YouTube, because like, and like only if you only need 5 hashtags. I used to run like 100 hashtags, bro, and I remember GPT like embarrassed me. They're like, GPT was like, that's a lot of hashtags. I was like, fuck you AI, like, but whatever. So yeah, you only need 5 hashtags apparently. Everything else is redundant.
Yeah, something I think we're not doing that much hashtags either.
Well, that's silly, my friend. You're running this race with a ball and chain.
Oh yeah.
I like when you put the videos back in, like the descriptions back into play, like playing around the descriptions within the video that's already there and seeing how the description, is it the description that is the impact of the video? Like, do you think that's like SEO search?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
So
that in the title and your transcript, like there's been times where it'll like recommend things that I didn't put in the description because I didn't know to, but like because YouTube, you gotta think YouTube is like a learning machine, right? So like that's why generally speaking you need like a base 10 videos minimum for it to like analyze your content, who is gonna like it before it even like finds your audience. Like that's kind of how it works. And yeah, like I only just like very recently that I learned this, but yeah, like the first line is very important. SEO, it's like the only thing it looks at basically, like it weighs very heavily, and then it really only weighs like 5 hashtags. And yeah, your title's important, your thumbnail's important. Like yeah, there's so many like little things, right? Like if it's like my content skews more adult, YouTube is better for family oriented content, period. That's just how it is. Like, to be honest, if I had or ever get an audience on X, I might post like my videos to X. I fucked up, and like I think I might have lost some of my final exports because I was being bad at filing. But I also really want to do like director's cut versions of my videos, to be honest. But
interesting. The repurposing of like, and I like retaking the description, is playing with it around again, seeing what that does to a video. I want to test that out too, just as the old videos, try to maybe like put like
have you never experimented with changing your title and thumbnail? Because yeah, those are like the 3 things to do, because you got to think like the video is like the bedrock, right? Like once you post the video, you can't change the video. Okay, like you can do some internal editing. I haven't actually experimented with that yet, but you can never like change the video. Okay, like that's the video for the most part, right? But you can change the title, you can change the thumbnail, you can change the description. Like I'll usually play with the thumbnails and titles until I think it's something good, or or too wordy is usually bad. I generally like lean towards less wordy. But then, yeah, same thing. I was experimenting. I like ran it through GPT, and it was producing like longer titles, but mixed feelings on that.
Yeah, and also I realized like for example, well, think about it. YouTube is programmed by human beings, right? And a common human behavior is always classify things. Like for example, in YouTube, right? Your small channel is like, it's like being poor. It's a class. of its own. You start from not having anything and trying
that's
to
so hard.
yeah, and trying to climb
I got something for you. So I think I figured out like why YouTube is like a drug. So, and I believe that. And it's because every single subscriber, especially when you're small, like you have to work for it. Like every single subscriber is a real person. Like, are you both subscribed?
Yeah.
I know you are. Are you?
I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
I love you guys. Appreciate that. But like, I know how hard every single subscriber is. Like, I've worked every single subscriber for the most part. Like, there's honestly like maybe 50 that wasn't directly caused by me, like asking someone or messaging someone on the various platforms, whatever. And so like when a video pops off or when you start getting subscribers, like that's when your brain just like floods with dopamine. Like I've heard bigger YouTubers like online be like, nothing's like a fucking viral video. Have you ever had a video yet where when you refresh the screen, the number is higher?
We had it through Instagram. Like we had one that went like within like less than 5 minutes, went from like 5 to like, not exaggerating, like 1,200.
Yeah, that's good. So I would argue that it's better on YouTube. So I had a short, which is nothing. Shorts are like its own beast. They're not related to long form at all. But I had my biggest short is like 16K. And that was a cool one. I was sitting at the bar and I was like, yeah, check this out. Boom. And it was up 1,000. I was like, like, that's when your brain is just like dopamine. And I was like, yeah, to be honest, like the come down from a good YouTube video is like worse than drugs.
Yeah, it's like you're waiting for the reward. And like normally what I do, it's
that's why it's addicting. Yeah, no, I just described to you why YouTube's addicting.
Yeah, to me, it's like when I post, and this is just particular to me, when I post like the mids or the full episodes, what keeps me happy is not even the posting. It's like knowing that I did the best that I could with what I had.
You haven't experienced it yet.
To me, I guess being a business owner and a little older, I know that every business takes a while to build. And it's
for sure.
Yeah, and it's not about the project itself. It's the journey of going through it. And it's like building a house layer by layer. Every video is a layer, and it's a small little. And like, for example, like I was telling Kevin one day, all it takes is for one of them to go skyrocket. And then since we have so much data already, whoever finds this interesting is going to want to be curious about the other work we've done, right? So it's almost like a domino effect that happens.
I think we're talking about the same thing. Like, I think I'm just prioritizing like SEO and like algorithmic practices, like in addition to basically exactly what you're saying. Like, I agree literally 100% with everything you're saying. You need to build and learn from every mistake and every success you need to hone in on and expand on and whatever, like, yeah, like YouTube is inherently a data-driven pursuit, but I'm just trying to express like my perception of why I think it's addicting and the mechanism behind why I think it's addicting.
Definitely. It definitely produces a lot of dopamine. There's no doubt about it, because think about it, like when you find an answer you want to hear, that you feel excited about it because you found it. It's almost like I don't know if there's TJ Maxx or Marshalls in Canada. Patrick.
Marshalls. I've heard both. I've heard of TJ Maxx, but I've never like seen one.
Yeah, so like
Marshall's like the work warehouse, right?
Yeah, so yes, like Marshalls, like their psychology is they have so much product. So, and the reason why they put the product like that is that when you find the product, it makes you believe you found a treasure, like in a hunt, and that produces dopamine. That's their business strategy. So it's the same.
Hooking them.
Yeah, it's the hook, exactly. So this is the issue that I think I will have a question I will have asked YouTube itself. It's like, what happens with 100,000 people have the same title? How do you classify the video with the same title, with the same thumbnail, similar SEO? And this is where the classism
Yeah,
stuff, right?
it would probably have to do with like your inherent popularity at that point.
And that's what small channels have to battle. And just like life, the poor has to figure out how to go into middle class and then jump into, but you have to work 20 times harder than those that are already on the top. So it's a contingent fight, I would say.
Do you post this on LinkedIn?
Yeah, definitely.
So, but with that constituent fight, it's like an uphill battle for because
No, I'm thinking, would are you done to cut things if necessary?
No, but like this particularly like doesn't fit into the link.
No.
Like what I
No, here's what I'm saying. Okay, so I have a story for you. I just don't know if you post the link, and I don't know if I'd be down to let you keep this story in it if you post the link. That's all I'm saying.
No, like if you tell me, like we'll respect your
part of the I didn't like have it out with my boss. So my boss like really likes me, but like technically speaking, I'm a co-op, right? But I do quote unquote like, so it was very frustrating. I have a lot going on at home, and then I felt that I was being like not what's the word, appreciated. So 2 times. So for example, my foreman doesn't have data on his iPad. Okay, I think that's dumb. Like that's not good for productivity. Like it would make more sense if he had data on his iPad. Period. Backed by the IT department. Okay, so I suggested. Now because everyone has phones to hotspot their iPads, they don't have data on their iPad. But most of these people are like in the office. They're not on site. They don't have like, and I'm like, that's just not ideal. Okay, whatever. So I was kind of getting brushed off. And then another thing, we use this software called Procore, and there's a way that we do. It's called like CCOs. It's like contract change orders. I had issued one for like more money than I needed to, and then so I was like amending it. And normally you would just write like a negative amount. But I was on the phone with Procore, and they showed me a way better way, like way faster, made more sense. And I told like everyone, and so I told my big boss. I was on the phone. I finally was like pissed off. I was like, and I asked to talk to him. So he calls me up, and it was like, we had a fucking, I don't know. I know he likes me, like, but it was just like I was like having it out with my boss. And he said the dumbest shit. And this dude's like a construction manager of like a very large like national company. Okay. And so I tell him about this better, like hands down, factually verifiable way of doing the CCOs, like amending the CCOs. And he's like, well, the other way we do it, that's the way we've done it for forever. What? And I was just like, man, just because, what does that even mean? Like, just because you've done something for a long time, like, doesn't mean it's better. Because in fact, how I'm telling you to do it is better. And anyways, it was an intense conversation. Like, I feel like I kind of came out on top, but it's just like, I forget the point of this story. You were talking about LinkedIn.
I had an experience like that before too, with the POS system at work, and the POS. I was running the POS system, so I was hands on in it. So as I'm working the POS system, like I'm running like literally like 10 miles a day at work, from going down from the basement up to the top, up to the floor, getting the product back down to the stock room, back around down. And I had an Apple Watch, so everything, my tracking for my feet were there, so there's actual data on me, like taking these steps. So I would bring it up to the managers, and they wouldn't want to work the experience with me, but they always had a problem when I would talk about my experience that I was having. So if I'm going to work the system, I'm going to make it as efficient as possible. Like our conscious editing, we're gonna edit as we go because just it's built in our biology to just find the path of least resistance, right? To flow like water is the path of.
Okay, Bruce Lee, calm down.
Yeah, right. So so it's like I kept telling them, and they didn't go through the same. They didn't walk with me to do it, and ultimately, I just made my own plan just to get it done, work the system. But then I was kicked out of the system, and somebody else had to work it. So it didn't help anybody in the long run. Like sometimes the managers in corporate and the leads are not going to hear the idea, especially when they're not living through it. And
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, and it's hard, but it's when more people come up and they talk about it, the more people that have lived through the experience of it, and they tell the people that aren't going through the experience of it about their problems. And I think the leaders should listen to those problems, take it into account, especially if it's happening to multiple people, and to apply those solutions that are suggested to the problem itself, or even to investigate those solutions that are suggested from the people living the experience.
You gotta remember too, Kevin, that unfortunately, like every person that's put in charge, perhaps has the many qualities, but a lot of them are not really qualified to understand and walk you through, and that is the shame, right? Like you could have, like for example, in both of your cases, right? It's a shame that you guys are coming with a better solution to a problem, and you're approaching it, you already did the experiments, you have the data to support it, and then it doesn't even get revisited, right? It doesn't even get a shot. But that talks more about their fear of not adapting to something new. Because you got to remember, why people like to be right is because they don't have to change. Everything else has to change. So when you bring a new idea that works better than the current one, what has to change is everything they already invested. So you're telling them, and hey, this works better. What has to change is everything they've done. So that right there makes people be not so open to these new ideas. But that's the issue, man. Look, unfortunately, and since you were talking about LinkedIn, there's biases, bro. Let me tell you something. If I didn't work on my own, I didn't have my own practice, right? I'm pretty sure, like, if I was applying to a job because of all the things I posted, the people recruiting will look at my videos and try to hold me accountable to what I do outside of work. Because remember, I don't work for any company, but let's say I'm interested, I'm working for a company in particular, right? Now, should you be held accountable for what you do in your personal life? Because how you act and behave personally doesn't mean that you act and behave professionally in that way, right? Because what's the first thing companies tell you? Don't mix your professional personal, right? And they want that. And they want that to be a thing for them. But when it comes for them to research you, they want to mix everything. Your personal life, your private life, and your professional life, and also your religious beliefs and your convictions and what you do. So they always ask about diversity, but what do they really use diversity for? Is it a tool to hold people accountable without really knowing their professional etiquette?
No, of course not. Diversity is to like check a box.
Oh yeah, definitely. I completely agree. It's to check a box, like, oh yeah, we encourage differences.
See, I appreciate like the straight faces you guys are having the whole time with the backgrounds. But on a side note, I really do think the lines are crisper, like not with the background. I know it's expensive, but just like as an offhand thought, like you could what if you could get like a printout of your background, and then you could have that, and then it would like look crisp? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love how you're optimizing. It's great.
Like the green, like a green screen.
Maybe that could work. I don't have enough experience with green screens. I was thinking about like getting like a literal ethics podcast like backdrop made, but a green screen would be probably much more like affordable and like implementable.
Yeah, we'll probably look into that because at some point we're thinking about like designing something that's more with the niche of the show, right?
It looks good. I like it. Yeah, samurai style. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
But,
man, we had to go with the samurai swords, man.
You gotta. Yeah, you're deadly.
Yeah.
Like combat ready, man.
Yeah. I apologize for cutting you off.
Patrick, what is the craziest? What is the craziest thing you ever been through that you have not told anyone on YouTube? There's like, so many, man.
Well, there's like one thing. We actually did do a podcast about it, but there's like one thing like legally I can't talk about. Everything else I've kind of like said. There's some things I could cut out because it like makes me look bad or it's like too crazy. Yeah. So what?
Maybe like a moment where you were deep in an adventure and you felt presence. Sorry, that was my slipper. You felt presence in
No, I got one for you. That was a good lead. It was a long time ago. Okay, I was probably would have been my early 20s, maybe like real early, like 2021. I was in Saskatoon. I was working nights or evenings at a motel, like the front desk, and it was like just on the other side of downtown, and my place was on the other side of downtown. So I was like skateboarding home, and there was like one event center called like the Odeon at the time. I don't even know what it's called now. Those places change names so frequently. But there was like a show that had just finished, like a good show. And, I ran to meet some people. We go like smoke weed by the river. And then we go to like their car. Their car has like, it's like all graffitied, like all inside the car. Whenever I leave, I keep on my way home. I'm skateboarding. There's like somebody chilling outside on their porch. And they're like, hey, come here. And I'm like, at the time, I was basically like the movie The Yes Man, like the Jim Carrey. I lived that for several years. And I was like, yeah, sure. And so I go, and he's like, oh, you want some mushroom chocolates? I was like, sure. So this random like porch dude gives me like mushroom chocolates. We have a little trip, and then I go, this story like seemed way cooler when it happened. Okay, I got one that hasn't happened yet. I am going to talk about this in a later episode. It probably won't come up for like over a year and a half. Okay, I got one for you. This hasn't been talked about yet. So this was yet again that same kind of time period. It was like after wrestling practice, it was like I was in university wrestling. We went out to Boston Pizza, had a couple drinks, and like a couple of us, like four of us, like went back to the homie's place during what I call the moonshine days. So my buddy had like all this moonshine from his grandpa, so we're hitting the moonshine and we're wasted. And then whatever, it's the end of the night, there's only two of us left. And we're like, let's go to the bar. So we go to the bar, have a drink, we're like coming out the back alley. I get fucking sucker punched like from this bum. Homeless. Whatever the PC terminology for it is, I don't even know what it is. Okay, I wouldn't even give him the credit of being called a hobo because a hobo implies you're a migrant worker. So we're gonna go with bum. So this bum like sucker punches me. Oh, I forgot a huge part of the story. So we're in the back alley. Before the sucker punch, there's like a bunch of people in the alley, and this girl has this dog, and she's like, oh, a cute dog. We pet your dog. She's like, this is my dog. We're like, okay, it's kind of weird. Sure. So we're petting this dog. Boom, sucker punch. Now I'm like peak shape for me, like, ready to go. And I remember I like spun around, expecting him to like kind of like jump me, but he didn't. He like ran off. And so, I threw a couple punches in, whatever, he runs off. So me and my buddy are like, let's head him off. So he goes this way around the block. Me and my buddy sprint down the alley. he's holding up like a scooter, like a sand person from Star Wars, with the dog tied to his like backpack from a lanyard. And we're like, we want to fight you. And he's like, no, I'll buy you a beer. We're like, no, we want to fight you. He's like, no, I'll buy you a beer. And we're like, okay, but if you don't buy us this beer, we're gonna beat the fuck out of you. So he goes back to the bar to cash out his VLT that he had abandoned because this was stealing his dog. And one of the people were like, I think this bitch is stealing your dog. And so he like runs out without cashing out, punches the first person he sees, this guy, and then whatever. So he buys us this 6-pack. We hang out for a little while, finish, polish off the 6-pack. And it turns out that my buddy who I was with, like, knew this guy through the grapevine. Like, the rumor was like he was dead, like from work. And we're just like, that's crazy. And then my nose was broken. And then I went home at 6 a.m. with a bloody shirt.
Jesus. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time when you got that punch, man.
It happens. It's hilarious, though.
That's crazy. They thought you were stealing a dog. Man, that's insane. That's actually.
You guys, what's your craziest story? Not on camera.
I got a lot. I don't know. Kevin, you want to do yours and I'll do mine?
Yeah, you know what? Based on so I was exploring an abandoned hospital with some of my friends. It was in Queens, and we had to basically, the way to get into the hospital was you had to climb up to the second floor window, and it was like a sketchy climb. So you have these you know, like the metal tubes on the side for the electric, like wires.
Yeah, the conduit, yeah.
Yeah, so you had to someone rip those and get to like a fabric piece of like balcony, and then like balance like your foot up the edge, and then get into the window. And then once the window, you get to like kind of crawl in. So we had about like 5 guys with us, and we're
5 guys.
Yeah. Right? So we're 5 guys literally. Should have brought some burgers. Yeah. So we're climbing up into the window, and
with your burgers.
Yeah, right. We thought that we were gonna get it right. We thought we had successful mission inside. Next thing you know, as we get inside, we see someone from the neighborhood look up at us, call, and oh, there's a couple people, and it's because one of our friends was just he got tired as he was getting through. So instead of coming inside fully to take a rest, took a rest at the edge to lay his legs, and now his legs are hanging out the window, and it looked like it's just you just had 2 feet laying out the window like this, and a half a body going through. So it wasn't fast enough or something like that. So somebody saw a call. We got the cops called on us. We start hearing all the squads. We start getting surrounded, literally surrounded by them. And I had to I lost the group midway of finding the exit, and we're all just trying to find a simple exit that's also safe enough, not in front of the cops' views, and trying to just leave as fast as
everyone for themselves. Yeah,
kind of we were trying to stick with the groups. So then I finally found one from the roof, and then we had to get off to the roof, make our way back down to the floor level, and come out from the side from the vent. And it was working. It was so perfect. Everything on point. We were moving so strategically. It was great. Next thing you know, again, that same friend, oh my god, killed it. Never exploring again with them. Completely killed it. Cop sees him, and they're like, yo, and they start flashing, and we get down, and we were good. They just gave us a little warning because we were 16. They were like, oh, that shouldn't be. And we're like, we're just exploring, had our cameras. We're not graffitiing, we're not vandalizing. We didn't break in either, so the rule is you don't break in, you don't do anything like that. You there's a lot of rules in urban exploring. You take nothing and you leave with nothing besides footprints. There's rules to the exploring game, and the rules wasn't followed. There's the reason why it says rules for the game and exploring, and because they weren't followed in the game, you just get caught into it. So That was just one of my craziest stories when we got caught. But then that was my first time and only time getting caught. So it was a tough one. Never brought that pen
Oh
back.
man, like Judas
That's a
Priest.
good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I got one from my military years. This is kind of so we were in Iraq in Ramadi, and I don't remember exactly what the first sergeant did to us, but we were pissed off, and he had a rooster, and obviously he put us on the sun. I now remember he put us on the sun for 5 hours. We were roasted, right? Like roasted, like sea salt lines on your BDUs, sweaty as hell, smelly and all that, right? We were just pissed off. So he had a little rooster tied into this pole outside of his tent. And one day we were like, you know something, this dude roasted us like we were like his freaking, he treats the hen or his chicken better than us. So I don't know who did it, I'll be honest with you, but we were like, okay, we're gonna check that nobody comes in. One of the guys comes in and it was like, okay, cool, we're gonna eat the chicken, right? So he'll get pissed off. These dudes throw some diesel at the damn chicken and burn the chicken, right? So the chicken, right, and everyone starts running because like nobody knows what the hell happened, right? Thank God the first sergeant didn't get up, right? The next morning he wakes up and all he sees tied up is like, you know, breeze of a chicken. Obviously he gets pissed off. He gets up and he's like, so nobody knows what happened to what was the name of the chicken? Miss Anna. It's like nobody knows what happened to Miss Anna. Okay, all right, I see that you guys tried to had a nice little barbecue with Miss Anna, so we're gonna barbecue today. So I don't know if you know, but we had a chemical suit. So the chemical suit, it's all this plastic suit plus your gas mask, right? And he was so pissed off. And he was like, okay, we're gonna do a nice little 10-mile run in the desert. I'm telling you, it's like 40 something degrees, like it's burning hot. And the dust in Iraq, the sand event in Iraq is like dust. Like you step on it and all of it, it's just dust, right? We put on the chemical suit and he had all the infirmary team and everything there. And so the fastest way to hydrate is plugging an IV in your anus, so you can hydrate it. So he was so everyone is like trying not to faint.
Are you
right?
Catholic? Are you Catholic?
You're sweating bullets, right? And you're keep going. And remember, we're all geared up, rucksack, weapon, right? 10 miles, man. And nobody.
Did you get the IV to the butt?
Nah, never. But the funny thing is, like everyone, bro, like everyone that was falling, you will see somebody come from the back and drag him back up. We all made it. Thank God nobody got IV'd, but my God, man, I never sweated. I don't know how didn't we die from dehydration. And so when we got to the it wasn't barracks. It was just like a post, right? We got back to the post. We were upset again. So, you know, we knew that as soon as he got there, he would normally, after we eat, right, he would normally go into the bathroom, right? Well, the latrines. There's no bathroom. So as soon as we eat, we go flying into the latrine and remove all the toilet paper, every single one of them. So he goes in, right? And this was our final revenge. And then he was a good sport. Give him credit for that. So he goes in. And we're just like, oh, this dude, like how he's gonna wipe, because you know TP is the most important thing in the military, especially if you're, this dude comes out, like he takes off his top, and inside of your top you have a brown shirt. He comes out with half of brown of his shirt missing. Like he looked like Rambo coming out of like half of his shirt all missing, man. And he just starts smiling. He's like, yeah, I guess I deserved that one. He just kept it, man. But it was just fun. We should have taken a picture and coming out with that ripped shirt, man. Like he had like a little sleeve just like that. I was like,
is that or your sock, you know?
Yeah, he should have used the whole shirt, but
literally.
Yeah, man, good times back then. good time, man. I haven't seen any of those folks in so long. Like, God knows, like 20 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it sounds like you've lived quite a life.
Yeah, man. It was quite some times back in those days, in my early 20s. So what can the early 20s, I think, are meant to explore and adventure. As you get older, you're like more settled, and you want things more structure, I guess, because you already went through the unstructuring phases of life. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm glad that we were able to share that. And one thing I was curious about is, Patrick, when I know you do your podcast, you publish your stories. And one of the stories that I like the most is the one you did recently with your uncle, man. I think that was a really good production. But your uncle was sports, bro.
Yeah, no, unfortunately that's one of my worst performing ones, but I also think that's a really good video. I think it's a casualty of I went too dark too many times in a row. My next ones, I am going to try to be lighter. But unfortunately, my show just skews dark. That's like if Life and Times wasn't the title, the alternate title would be Gangster Therapy. So it is what it is.
It sounds like NWA title right there. I like that.
That's the gimmick.
So how did your uncle, was your uncle nervous when you were recording him, or was he cool?
Yeah, he was cool. He was really cool. He has some stories that we actually chose not to release. That because I've always come at it from like a clickbait / like viral potential angle, and so like I just like whatever, no matter what he's done in his life, like I love him. And yeah, he's done some like fucked up shit, which last minute he decided he didn't want to share, which was fine, and then we skipped over that. And yeah, but overall, like oftentimes I find with people who have done things wrong in their life, if they're seemingly in a perpetual state of trying to make amends, which I feel like he is a victim of.
Yeah. So that's interesting. We all make mistakes, man. Like if we try to deny that, then what kind of human beings we become, right? Without having those mistakes.
Yeah, it's true. We all make mistakes. I envy the people that can forget them.
That's it. I think there's people that, especially in practice, you see a lot of people that their consciousness erase such a hard trauma, and they really don't remember it. It's just because, and this is where, we were talking about kind of like consciousness, how it does the editing part. So you don't have to, relive those memories, Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I have the opposite problem. So, but yeah, I must be nice.
Yeah, I don't think everyone is lucky like that to erase, not erase, but edit on top of those memories.
Yeah. Sometimes I remember because you gotta dive deeper into them. Like when you discover something more. There's something that you might have not seen before, like the path that you take in the morning, that path that you walk every day, and then you discover that one little thing that just changes the perspective of the walk. There's another philosophy that I love that comes from Taoism, Buddhism, all that. The art of letting go. The power of letting go frees up so much space. You know, not only for you, but for someone else as well, right? Like,
I want to so bad. You don't understand. I want to.
It's not easy, right? It's not easy to let go, right? It's a struggle to let go, but it's just that reminder to yourself when it pops up. It's like redirecting that train of thought to something else. It's like, no, I'm gonna let go of this and open my hands up to something new, right? Like, it's like saying like, how can, instead of thinking about that, like, why didn't that do so well? He doesn't want me to expose the truth out of what happened. So you know what? If he doesn't want that, I'm letting it go. And I don't know, I might be mad towards him. It's all like that, but I had to learn how to let that go too. And there's so much things that happened in our past, and I had to also learn how to let that go. And I'm new. I'm myself. I'm who I am, and I need to learn how to hold on to that and to discover more of that. It's a process of letting go or redirecting the thought, like not letting it, like let's talk about like the neurons that in our brains that are always going to expand when you catch a thought, but when you don't do that thought, like literally it starts retracting. Like you're not exercising that muscle anymore. You're start pushing to a new muscle where the neurons are going to go to. So just let go, basically.
Yeah. I think what people have a hard time understanding about healing is who is forgiveness for. And a lot of people think that we need to forgive other people because of their actions, but forgiveness is really for you. It's not for another person. It's really for yourself. And it's not even about letting go. It's about that you have to understand your peace of mind shouldn't have a price tag. Because at the end of the way, you're the one carrying all the pain. Nobody else can understand your pain. No. They can listen to what you say. You can express it, but nobody knows how it feels except you. So
I agree.
So forgiveness is such like love. Love is a decision, such as forgiveness. And when you decide to want to forgive you for you and not for anyone else, it's not like that you let go. You understand that you're doing it for you. You're doing it because you don't want to carry with the guilt or the blame. And when you start understanding that guilt and blame is what's going to make you feel resentful, ashamed, resentful, when you start understanding like these are things that are so heavy, and you're asking yourself, are these things that are going to add value into? How can I transform some of this resentfulness into moments of joy, right? Moments of joy, because that's another thing. We believe that we have to look for the pursuit of happiness, and what we need to find is peace.
Okay, Will Smith, calm down.
Yeah, so we have to find inner peace, man. Like, and I think that's what we journal about, and think about it. In your household, you live very close, and you feel that tension, but it takes two to be bitter. It takes two to fight. But it takes one person to start healing themselves with understanding that the forgiveness it's a decision you make for you, regardless of you can't control another person. You can't control what they're going to say, how they're going to act, what they're going to do, but you can definitely control your thoughts, change them, to start thinking about like, I need to free myself from this because this is not healthy for me, and to create boundaries for yourself. And it's not hard. It's very difficult. It's very difficult because in the process, you're going to start finding out how hard-headed we could become with ourselves and how hard we are with ourselves on holding on to things that don't serve a purpose, more than just to destroy the beauty we have inside. So it's a hard process, and it takes, for some people, months and years of therapy to learn the process of healing through forgiveness. And that's just
Just telling us our stories. We really appreciate it.
yeah, man. And I hope you find that healing process within yourself to journal and be at peace with yourself, man. And you're
try to make it happen. This is my journal. Thank you.
nah, man. And I love the fact that you find this therapeutic as well. So trust me, I think I find this very therapeutic, but also it's a drive.
You gotta like zoom in on my tears. That's a good money shot.
And you know that's one thing I like about you, Patrick. Even though you could go through some pain, you still cheer yourself up, and I like that about you, man.
I'm just your friendly neighborhood psychedelic court gesture.
Reminds me of Shaggy right now. Just needs to be somewhere. But yeah, man, and it's a pleasure. Hopefully, this is not the last collab we do. You know that we are always here for you too. If you ever want us to be in your show,
you should send me a copy. Maybe like I don't know. We'll have to talk about me offline, but I wouldn't mind even like posting it to my channel. Maybe.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. And like I said, like the last thing we normally do after our podcast is we take a little moment of reflection. So what did we learn from one another, or what did we learn with our guests through the topics? I don't know. You want to start, Kevin?
Yeah, sure. So I learned that creativity is a journey. To grow is a process. It's not necessarily a launch, even though you can launch in certain aspects or in certain pieces for sustainability. You gotta keep pushing through, and there's ways to hack the system. Like there's ways you can hack the system and play with the system's game. So it's a ever evolving journey that gets us to keep growing and tells us it basically just tells us more about ourselves to go forward,
Yeah. What I learned was how Patrick, storytelling, truth, he is unique and genuine, and that's his true niche, and what I learned is like, this is his therapy. This is his escape coping mechanism to not only feel embraced, but also to showcase his talent and to be shown that he is a genuine human being. But there's something very unique about Patrick. Is that
you're gassing me up. Yo,
Yeah,
you pull my tires too full, they're gonna explode.
He's unselfish. He's somebody that will show up for you, and he has too many crazy stories that hopefully, and we hope that he gets to share with the world, because I do think that Patrick, inside of himself, he always wants to do the better good. And I'm very thankful that you were here. I don't know if you learned something from us today.
Yeah. So, you gotta forgive yourself and others, and I think it was a Mark Twain quote, but like hatred, maybe not hatred, but is like an acid in a bottle. You only burn yourself.
Mm.
I don't think that's the right quote, but the essence is the same.
Yeah. Well, that concludes our podcast today. You already know where to find Patrick Banks. Patrick, how they can find you? What's your YouTube channel, your Instagram?
Yeah, if you just Google, or if you just like search Patrick Banks on YouTube, I'm the first thing that comes up. And then my main socials are Instagram and Facebook is Patrick_Banks93. But I'm on everything, just I'm most active there.
Patrick, is there like a next episode coming up so they can stay tuned for that?
Yeah, it should be. I got both editors working on one, so it'll either be this Sunday or the following Sunday.
So thank you guys. Thank you for watching the Ethics Go podcast. Patrick Banks in the house. Kevin, thank you so much for your contribution, and we'll see you next time.
help us continue to embrace these human experiences and explore more about ourselves and others by just subscribing. You know, if you like our content, definitely like, comment, share it. But also, if you want to be part of our podcast, all you have to do is leave a comment and tell us what you want to talk about. Remember, this is the platform for the people, and we're here to explore those life experiences that are very unique to you and to everyone else. Don't forget,